also got some problems here with this. That's cut off like I normally cut them off, as I've seen in my other videos. That's cut off like I normally cut them off. And I cannot get this thing to budge. It's so rusted. So my last resort, if I don't want to change the hub, is to cut through that with a Dremel, because the blade's much smaller. And if I slice into a little bit of the hub, I can live with that. And I'm hoping then that'll relieve it enough, and then I can bash it out from this side in. Meanwhile, I'm going to try and fix the new bottom arm onto there, and the new top arm, and then use that to secure the hub while I'm doing that, and then hitting the remainder of the bolt out. After that, should just burn the bush out the shock, and we should be underway. So it looks like stuff is going to line up fine. Okay, so we're looking good. It's going back together a bit easier than I thought it would. I had terrible trouble with the brakes on the front, but brakes on the back aren't too bad. Next up now, I'll burn the bush out of the suspension, get the anti-roll bar off. It's already disconnected, so what I've got to do is pull that out, clean that up and paint it, put the suspension bush in, fit the suspension, tighten everything up, and then make it neat. I really want to do the rest under here, but I'm on a deadline with the car. Well, that's better. I'm on a deadline with the car, so it's going to be quite limited mileage, and all I've got is one trip coming up in about 4 weeks time, 5 weeks time, that this has to be ready for. So I'm going to get back on the road, MOT'd, and the alignment done, and then deal with the rest later. Okay, somewhere near now. This bit, what I did is cut that and that on a slant, so it gave me a bit more room. But unavoidably, I don't know if it's, unavoidably I've scratched the hub, but that's not the end of the world. I should have taken the hubs off the car, but I was worried I wouldn't get them off, and it was just more expense, and I didn't really want that. It's proving, to be honest, I wish I had, because it's a bit awkward. I've got them up on the weights, and that's the space to the edge of the car, so I don't have much room to work in, and that's causing me some problems as well. So you can see with a bit more bashing, I've now opened up that cut that's in the centre of the screen and get the Dremel in again. Now I'm fatiguing that bit in the middle. There we have it, finally. Right. So now that's out, I've got to try and knock in from the cut ends. I've got to try and knock that one to the centre, that one to the centre, and then I'm ready for my new bolt. Luckily this didn't take 5.5 hours like the last one did. Yeah, 5.5 hours. This one's taken me about 3 in total to get to this stage. And like I said, a lot of that is the limited amount of room I've got to work in. If I use that for scale, basically the length of an axe. So I can't really get in down the side of the car, so I've got to do everything from underneath, which is fine, but I can't lift my arm up enough to use the hammer without hitting my head. Well, hammer, I'm using an axe at the moment, which is even funnier, but there we are. Okay, so try and smash those bolts up now. Right, so this is how I did the last one. I put it up on some concrete weights, like that, and I hold them together with a jack handle. So I've got a nice solid pillar for smacking on. The one problem I've got on this side, that ABS wire, is a bit of a nuisance because it's connected to the body there, chassis, subframe I guess, which is alright, but it's also connected to the brake, so I don't really want to let go of those two nuts because this is already tight enough, the brake pipe, and I don't want that banging about. Next up, this is tight, the ABS wire is tight there, so they're pretty tight. What does this mean? Okay, this means I'll be able to get that one out easily, but on the other side I just turned the hub the other way around and did that one, but because of those wires I'm not going to be able to. Don't know what I'm going to do about that yet, one thing at a time. Okay, so this is dislodged a bit. If you look around the circumference of what's left of that bolt, you can just see it begin to slide down. Come on, camera focus, there we go. You'll also see I've started a small little drill hole in the middle, and what I'm using is a bolt off the bottom shock that's got a rounded end, and that fits in there nicely and stops it flying about when I'm trying to hit it hard with a hammer. So more of the same. So I upgraded my smacker, and there we go, it's out. I don't exactly know where it went because I decided it just pinged off across the workshop somewhere. And some people might say, oh, it looks a bit oval, that hole, but in reality it's only really the top surface. I'm not bothered about that. Purists would probably say, oh, that'll make your car wobble, but I'm not expecting this to. That's my light on. I'm not going to have any problems with that. So yeah, anyway, I'm knocking the next one out and then the bolt can go in. Not quite sure this is what Haynes meant about working inside the rear arch, but there we go. It's on its way. So it looks like I'm going to get near my goal, which is to test fit the other side. You can see the white on there, look. I've got the new stuff. I'll do the same on that side, see if I've got any bolts missing or any problems with bolts. And then after that, refit the anti-roll bar, which I haven't painted yet. And I think it's just a case of tightening them up then. I do have one issue on this side. Which bolt was it now? That one. The new bolt I put in, just to hold the bottom of the hub on, the one I've been struggling with on the other side. There's a 1.5 pitch on one of them and a 1.25 on the nut. So that's proving to be a bit tight. I think I'm going to go for it and see if it strips. If it doesn't, then I'll use it. Pushes out. If you're in any doubt, so I've still got my mask on. If you're in any doubt how hot these are, watch this. Don't know if you can see that, but the water's actually boiling around it. Into my special soup. Let that cool down, wire brush what's left to the outside, hitting in with a new brush. To get the bush in, I'll plunk it in there, I'll jam it in, and I'll go at it with a vice, and I'll squeeze the bush in with a bit of rubber grease. And for now,